This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we're dealing with an Ikea dishwasher that isn't heating. We've already checked the element and the high limit thermostat, and they're both working. So the next thing that we have to look at is the controller. So we're going to be replacing the controller. Here's the model number for the dishwasher. And to replace the controller, we just have to make sure that we have it unplugged or the breaker is turned off. And we can do the whole thing without removing the dishwasher. We just have to take off some parts of the dishwasher door. This one has the cabinet piece hooked onto the door, so we're going to be removing that. Here's the new part, the new controller. Here's the part number. And sometimes the heater relay on these fails, and it just doesn't send power down to the heater. And you know, because you don't get any steam, the dishes don't dry. And usually though, you want to suspect the element, and also there's a kind of like a fuse that could be doing it. But those have been checked and they're okay. So the next thing is the controller. So we just took off the cabinet piece. We sped up the camera here a little bit. Just removing all these screws on the inside. These are Torx 15 screws. Because we have to get the top panel here off and also the bottom panel. There's a couple on the side too. They're the ones that are holding the control frame in position. So we're getting all these off on the door, and then we can remove that bottom panel. I like to sit in a chair when I do this because it gives me a good vantage point to do this repair. You can kneel down too, but this is a little more comfortable. So now we're pulling the control panel, the keyboard out away, and there's a modular connector that connects the keypad onto the controller, and we're going to just press in on that tab and pull it out. So now that's disconnected, and get that out of the way. And there's just a bunch of wires now holding on the controller. Just got to get these last few screws out so we can get the bottom panel out too, because the bottom panel kind of holds the wires in place and makes it hard to disconnect them. So we're going to lift up on the bottom panel, and that'll get that out of the way. And now we have good access to the parts we need to get. So I just pulled out a plastic piece at the top of the frame, and now I'm going to slide the controller out of the controller frame. Now I have better access to the wires. So take off this little cap, and then we can pull off this main modular connection. Just going to push down and wiggle it off. Might be good to take a picture of where all these wires go. They are designed where they can only go in one way, but it just makes it a little bit easier to put it back together. I'm going to press in on the tab, and then we're going to remove each one of these modular connectors. Remember though, before you go to this point, check the element, check the high limit thermostat to make sure that they're okay before you do this, because this is an expensive part. This did fix the problem on this dishwasher and allowed it to dry the dishes again, and allowed it to have nice steam that helps to wash the dishes. So we got the old one off. Here's the new one, and we're just going to do everything in reverse. We're just going to put all those modular connectors back in. They can only go in one way again, so if you feel like it's not going in, you might be in the wrong jack, and you can just try a different one. That's where that photograph will come in hand. You want to make sure that when you push them in, you sit them all the way down so they're fully connected. And they'll lock into position. I believe this sold by Ikea, but I believe Whirlpool makes this one. So now we got the controller into the controller frame, and then we're going to slide it up, and we'll add this plastic piece to lock it in. So here's the keyboard, and we're just going to put the little modular connector into the controller to connect the keyboard to the controller. And then we're going to get the controller frame pushed back into this black plastic keyboard assembly. And then we'll hook this up into the door itself. Just take your time here, make sure everything is in position. And open the door a little bit. Push this all into position. And I'll add just a few of the screws to kind of hold it in place. So I'm putting the long screw in here on the corner, left corner and the right corner. These are real long because they actually go into the wood of the cabinet. And I'll put a couple of these in by the door lock. Put a few more in. Again, we sped this up a little bit. Here's the one on the sides. The ones on the side are the ones that are really holding into the frame that is holding the controller. So they're the ones that really give it the strength. And they're a different kind of screw. They're a machine screw, like finer threads. I just slid the front panel back down into the door frame. Then I'll open the door and I'll put the rest of those little screws in that hold on that bottom panel. I only wish I could work this fast. That would be great. It's just all the film being sped up. Zip all these in. So if a dishwasher is not heating, sometimes it could be due to the water level not coming up high enough to activate the heater. So you have to make sure it has enough water to come in contact with the heating element. So now we have the front panel slid back on. Then we'll tighten up the screws in the corner. They're the ones that really lock it in and hold it in position. There we go. Got that one, and we are done. So thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance, and I hope this has been helpful to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.